Good evening. How ambitious of you to come out to the theater tonight. The weather has been quite dreary, but I've been occupied during my stay here, and I think it is time to show the final work at last. After all, the beginning is always today. I've been in a competition, you see. Myself, Lord Byron, John Polidori, and Mary Shelley. They think they've already won, but they have not yet seen what I've written. We have been competing to see who might piece together the best scary story. A friendly competition amongst peers. Though, between you and I, Percy and I have developed more than a friendship. I have no doubt this will become public knowledge soon, so I had this framed. Is he not the most handsome man you've ever laid eyes on? He's a wonderful poet, too. Just brilliant. Do not tell his wife of this. I do think this room could use a bit of... It's perfect. You see, I've indeed written a scary story, but not the kind of scary you might anticipate. There are no ghouls or goblins per se, but there is a creature who embarks on a quest full of consequences, as well as his creator, both searching for answers their ambitions either take them toward or further away from their deepest desires. We hear this tale from the perspective of a ship captain who stumbles upon this scientist. He details his account in letters to his sister Margaret back at home, sort of a story within a story within a story, if you will. This story may not be what you came here expecting, but it certainly begs the questions of responsibility, community, acceptance, belonging. It truly invites you to think, and I encourage you. Ask the questions. I find myself having many. I could tell you more of what I've written in the past few weeks, but I'll let you see it for yourselves. Though I do not believe I have a title yet. I'll call it Frankenstein. Well, I'd better get some rest and allow you the time to ponder the journey you're about to witness. Good night.
At ease.
Captain Walton, we've got something. It appears to be a living being.
How could this be? Are the ice caps not frozen solid to their core?
He appears to be alive, Captain. We ought to save him.
Bring him aboard, and bring blankets immediately. All hands on deck!
Yes,
But Mama, where did the man come from?
Mommy, is Uncle Walton coming home soon?
Oh, girls, let's read on. I'm sure your Uncle Walton tells us. I'm just relieved we received another letter from his travels. He and his crew must be close to the Arctic Circle by now. I should think he'll be home within the year with amazing new discoveries.
Mama, I want to know how that man ended up stuck on the ice.
I do as well. I hope your Uncle Walton is all right. He usually begins his letters with such things as his supper and exactly how it was prepared, or how his pillow was fluffed in such a way that he couldn't fall asleep. It isn't like him to begin his letters in such a peculiar way.
Read the story, Mama.
All right. But if this becomes too much for young ears, you know how sailors can be, it will be off to bed for you. You two have enough adventure as it is, simply playing in the yard.
You mean to say you've been out here for a month?
How did you ration your food?
How did you acquire the dogs and sledge?
I've
Been able to make acquaintances along the way.
Captain, how do we know he isn't dangerous? This all sounds like a lie. Captain, he may have been involved in foul play.
At ease! I've seen men in his state before. He's been through much difficulty. Let's hear what he has to say before I decide where he's best suited. Anyone who's not strong of heart would not be out here enduring what we've endured.
I don't understand. Captain, is the incident we witnessed with the man on the sledge related to this? If so, we are all out of our wits. We saved this man's life, but to what end? The ice has just about been the end of us, and now him?
What?
Captain, it's time you knew. We've had enough. The ice has made its mark upon us, and the journey is no longer bearable. The crew has come together and cast a vote. We must turn our expedition homeward. As soon as 24 hours from the moment the ice lets us through. It's been decided.
Well, if you all were planning this mutiny before we rescued this man, you should have come forward.
Captain, either you let us turn back or we will do so without you.
Yes, sir.
Another man, you say? Last night? No. No, we're so close. Yeah. You must understand. Do you call yourselves explorers? Did you not call this a glorious expedition? What then would you ask of your captain? And how dare you undermine his authority? This was to be an honorable undertaking. Do those seeking honor upon the first mention of danger contend to give up their pursuits to a lofty defeat? Be expeditioners, or better yet, be more than that. Return as heroes who have fought, conquered, and refused to give up their glory, even if they're almost deprived of life itself. This ice is not made of stuff as your hearts may be. You have ambition knocking at your hatch, and you dare not turn your back on her without an answer. Now, listen to your captain, or dispose of your honor, like you seem to be in the mindset of doing.
This way. Please speak to us like that. We need to go home. We've had enough. We need to see our family.
Attention crew! Get some rest and sustenance and meet back here in the morning to discuss the next leg of our voyage. Dismissed.
Yes, sir.
I must know more of your journey. How has this pursuit so taken the last bit of your strength? Surely there must be some reason you choose to risk your life relentlessly following this quarry?
Captain, if what your crew says is true, and they really did see a man last night by sledge, then my quest has not yet been fulfilled. We cannot turn back now. You cannot let your crew determine our course.
They have some merit to their demand for return, Mr. I'm sorry, I haven't asked your name.
Frankenstein. Victor Frankenstein.
Mr. Frankenstein, they have some merit to their demand. I can tell some of my strongest crew are becoming faint of heart. Yet we're so close. The source of the North Pole's magnetism is within reach. I can feel it. Nonetheless, a captain can only be so successful if his crew no longer holds fast to his commands. The crew may be right. We may need to turn back once the ice allows.
No, we cannot turn back now. My flame of vengeance has yet a flicker.
Vengeance? But why?
For you to understand why, what I am about to detail will not sound reasonable or sound, but you must bear with me, for it has taken all my strength to arrive here.
I would be honored to hear of your endeavors that took you to this embarkment.
But you must promise me, Captain Walton, that when I finish this recollection, and if my strength fails me prior, you must carry out the task I set out for, whether or not you return with your crew.
Dear sister, when you understand the reasons for his passion, you may find yourself with empathy for either him or what he created. In either case, you must hear of his upbringing to understand the growing monster of ambition within him. You'll find that his story lends itself to tragedy after tragedy, as I tell you the tale of how Victor Frankenstein ended up on my expedition ship. He lived a comfortable life as a young boy. His father and mother had built considerable wealth, and they loved him very much, his mother, Caroline, being the one to always let him know. She was a brilliant woman, well-versed in the sciences, and her caring nature always seemed to find him in moments he needed it the most.
Golden slumbers kiss your eyes, smiles await you when you rise. Sleep, pretty darling, do not cry, and I will sing a lullaby. Care you know not, therefore sleep, while over you safe watch I keep. Sleep, pretty darling, do not cry, and I will sing a lullaby. My dear Victor, you are beloved, and I pray you never forget that.
He had many adventures growing up alongside his best friend, Henry Clerval. There was a summer, Henry was first able to join Victor on his annual family hiking trip to their summer villa. The boys were enthralled with all the discoveries nature had to offer them. They raced each other ahead along the trail to Montanvert, and soon they arrived where they'd stay for the night. But what Victor and Henry saw at dusk that evening was remarkable. It was a moment Victor shared with his mother that he would never forget.
Henry, look!
Victor, what are these magic lights?
I don't know, Henry, but I don't want us to scare them away. Mother, come look!
Yes, dear Victor. Oh, this is impossible. I cannot believe they are truly here. Lamperis nocte Luca.
Mother, are these lights alive?
Yes, dear Victor. These are worms that shine in the night. But they've only been discovered as far south as Bavaria. So this is truly miraculous. What an amazing discovery you've made. And there must be dozens of them. Oh, I must get your father.
I cannot stop looking at them.
A new discovery here, and my mother knew them immediately. Henry, just think of all the other wonders out there we haven't seen yet. All the creation.
And so many beautiful places to travel to.
I'm going to catch one.
How?
I have a glass bottle in my pack.
Are you sure?
Yes, Henry. I want to bring it home and keep the light forever.
All right, just don't hurt it. You don't want its insides everywhere.
I've got one.
He's out here with them all, dear. You really must see this. Oh, Victor. You can look at the insect, but only for a time. You must let it go so it can live the life it shall in nature, not in glass. You see, these creatures can help other ones. Other insects looking for food at night can easily find it by the light they shine. Here, let's open the jar and let it do what it is created to do.
A few years after she had Victor, his mother had another child, Ernest. A while after the boys were older, Caroline had William, her youngest, whom she had a special affection for. The three young boys played well together and made a strong familial bond. However, Victor's father and mother still wanted a daughter, so they were able to adopt a girl from a family in Italy. Her name was Elizabeth Lavenza, and it was always the intent that she would be raised in their family and should someday become wife to Victor. She was so cherished, especially by Victor's mother. With a full household, the Frankensteins had a hired hand as well. Her name was Justine Moritz, and for a time, they lived happily as a family at their estate in Geneva, Switzerland.
Justine, come catch me, Justine.
Unfortunately, only a few years went by, and Victor's mother became very ill and died unexpectedly. Her death was hard on the whole family. Elizabeth and Justine clung to each other, and became as close as true sisters with Caroline's absence. But Victor took her death the hardest. He always felt a piece of himself was missing after she was gone. He fell into a deep sadness and questioned everything. Victor could never understand why she died at such a young age. Victor loved his mother more than anyone on earth. He didn't understand why all the money they spent on doctors, some with the best knowledge in the world, didn't cure her. As he grew older, he started on his own journey of knowledge. Victor's father invested more into politics after Caroline died, and he wanted his children to leave a worthy legacy in her absence. However, he was not gentle in making that known.
Do you understand me?
Yes, Father. I won't come inside until I construct a fox trap.
And?
And I'll build it from materials found in our backwoods.
And why?
Because I'm a Frankenstein, and we must not take her name lightly if we are to accomplish anything great.
Good. Now tell Ernest and William it's time to come inside.
I got you now.
Not for long.
Ernest, William, Father says it's time to come inside.
But
Already?
Victor.
Father says you must go now.
All right, Victor, but will you play with me tomorrow?
Perhaps, William, but I have a lot of reading to do. I'm studying some very important philosophers so I can go to the best university when I'm older. Now please do as I say so Father doesn't get upset with me.
All right, Victor.
Victor, are you ready to go scavenging in the woods today?
I have no time to play today, Henry. Father says I am to build a fox trap out of materials found out here.
Well, let's attempt both, shall we? Foxes are playful creatures after all.
I suppose we can explore as I look for the correct pieces.
What will we find today? A wild beast, a new kind of herb? Only time will tell.
Henry, many loggers have been out here as of late. Let's look in this area.
Oh, look, I've found some flowers I've not seen here before.
Not what I'm hoping to find, Henry.
Though they smell like rotting flesh. Don't smell the red ones.
Noted, Henry. I've been on all these paths dozens of times. Don't you think we should explore further out?
I think we will someday, Victor. The world is ever expanding, it seems. It holds many secrets beyond these woods.
Yes, it does hold many secrets, doesn't it? Secrets of life, of death, secrets of what lives and who dies. Still, many secrets. Too many for one afternoon, especially when you have a fox trap to build somehow.
I suppose it does. But we have the gift of the great outdoors on our side, Victor. Just take in nature's unfathomable beauty as we're out here. We used to do that all the time when we were younger.
Yes, when we were younger.
Victor, look what I found! A coil! My family has been looking for one like this. Where do you think it came from?
I have no idea, Henry. I'd assume from a tool with an attached blade, but this could work. This is what I'll use for my fox trap.
No, Victor. I need this. My family needs this part to be able to continue their business. It's like one my father lost recently, and they're not being produced right now. We can look for more.
We won't find another one out here, Henry. I need it. Give it to me.
Oh, I saw it first. I want to give it to my father. He needs it. Please? I can help you with your trap.
No.
We can try a different design.
I've already decided, Henry, and it's almost evening. My father says I am to build this trap. Just give it to me.
Why don't you just ask your father if you can complete it by the end of the week?
I must do this today, Henry. I must prove that I can do it. Just let me have it. Henry!
Victor! You made me bleed. Why do you have to be so selfish that I couldn't have this one find? That's not what friends do!
Who needs you, Henry? I'll find a way to build this trap, coil or no coil. Ah!
Mama, it sounds just like Lenny not sharing her toys with me.
No, Claire's like them. She won't share her toys with me.
Although it may be difficult to share, our hearts are so much more full when we do. Selfishness will only get you so far. And, oh my girls, there's no one just quite like you. Either of you. You are both uniquely created, and I love that I get to be your mama. Never forget that. Now, sounds like this Victor has quite the story. Henry and Victor eventually resolved their incident, although it did take some time. But Victor always kept that ambition to prove himself, even until it was time for him and Henry to part ways when Victor went to university. They'd always been inseparable, but Victor told me of his time at Ingolstadt, where he attended university, and that it was life-changing, and that the professors he met there were such extraordinary academics.
Mama, what's a professor?
A professor is a teacher who helps students in their learning. Young men typically move away from home for years in study. He writes their names were Professor Kremp and Professor Waldman, and both were brilliant. Frankenstein studied mainly under M. Waldman, which he mentioned changed the course of his destiny.
Why do you still reference these journals, Professor Kremp? You have enough scholarship of your own pursuits.
You do not understand, Professor Waldman. The journals belong to my late husband. He left them to warn of the uselessness and, dare I say, danger of all those philosophers of ancient thought. You are obtuse to believe their work should influence modern chemistry.
With all due respect, Professor Kremp, your husband could have been on the verge of a groundbreaking finding had he studied further on their thought. He simply relied on the hypothesis from chemists who proved nothing new under the sun.
I think it's been proven that these chemists are on a more imaginable trajectory than German Renaissance men who amounted to no real findings.
Professor Kremp, don't you think we could be on the verge of greater discoveries? Why ignore the thinkers that unlocked our limiting belief systems?
They were veering off the path we need to be on scientifically. I think we must first learn to steward the resources that are in our hands at the present time. Philosophy and pushing the limits of what man can do can take a rest. Let's look at what is tangible and can help our fellow man. Intertwining these philosophers' ideas with chemistry could make for a dangerous game.
Dangerous? Oh, you must take risks in thought to make any progress. Why limit what we can create? The power in our own hands. It may bring us more glory than you realize.
I disagree.
Excuse me, professors. I couldn't help but overhear your conversation, and I must voice my thoughts. I've spent the last few years studying Albertus Magnus, Cornelius Agrippa, and Paracelsus. I do think there is merit in their teachings that could reveal today's secrets of life and death, science and technology. I intend to continue my chemistry and biology studies with their work as the cornerstone, as I feel I have the ambition to discover something nobler than past students. I intend to make a name for myself and my family.
Well, that's a preposterously
You've come
bold
to the right
thought
place, young man.
for a first
What's your name?
Victor Frankenstein, sir. I'm honored to be here at Ingolstadt and study under you.
I apologize, gentlemen. I must get going to my next class. But if I could tell you anything, Mr. Frankenstein, be careful of dredging up evaporated thoughts. Vapor lacks the substance to nurture growth.
Professor Kremp.
Professor Waldman.
So, young man, you've studied the greats, have you? Professor Kremp and I may not see eye to eye, but I believe you're on the right path. In fact, we've got a special laboratory attached to the living quarters on the hill that's available. I'll inquire about it getting set up for you with everything you might need.
Thank you, Professor.
Now allow me to show you something.
Victor spent weeks studying and working in his living quarters lab until eventually he spent nearly all his time there. He barely slept and was insistent on his work, and it consumed him. He remembered getting letters from home, but he never responded like he intended to.
Mr. Frankenstein, I haven't seen you in weeks. This letter was delivered to my classroom. It seems to belong to you.
Thank you, Professor.
Victor, I've been reflecting on my time in Geneva as I wish to follow you to Ingolstadt in the fall. I want to travel and see the world. I miss the adventures we used to have.
Henry, come to the backyard.
Elizabeth.
I am coming.
Your brothers are well and lively as ever. Elizabeth is well, but misses you deeply and wants to hear from you. It is a joy to see how grown up she is now. I remember when your family first introduced Elizabeth. We all miss you, Victor, especially William. He cannot stop talking about how much he misses you. Please write.
Oh, Elizabeth. My dearest Elizabeth, I hope you have not been so worried about me and my studies. I know I haven't written you, but you must trust I am doing important work. The glory which lies before me in time I may share with you. This, of course, pales in comparison to the glorious day when you arrived to our home. I remember it fondly. Much of my childhood I remember fondly. I was just a child when I first laid eyes on you. My mother had come back from Italy, and there you were. You joined the family. I never quite saw you as a sibling or a cousin, as my father and mother put it, but rather as a friend. And I felt this particular justification to protect you, like you were made for me. I've always been drawn to you, Elizabeth. You had this sincerity of heart I had never seen in anyone else, except my own mother. Though I will admit, you were timid at first. You loved sewing and working on projects indoors. I tried to convince you to play outdoors with my brothers and I when I could, but you took a bit longer to acclimate. Of course, over the years, once you got to know Henry Clerval, that's when you truly began to witness our liveliness.
Elizabeth Lavenza, come along. You must take down the enemy. Here, take this.
Henry, I don't believe in war.
Oh, you will when you see the likes of this one. He's a monster, I tell you. I once heard he could start a fire with simply a glance.
That's ridiculous. You two just won't quit.
Oh, come on. He's still outside in the yard and won't suspect a thing.
Henry, you are quite a character. I couldn't possibly bombard Victor. Besides, it looks as if it may rain any minute.
Oh, Elizabeth, that's the fun. The unknown, the anticipation. If you won't ambush Victor, well, we both will. Come along.
Henry, do you hear this? We're going to get drenched when this rain comes.
Shh. I've got you now.
Ow! What are you two doing out here? Can you not feel the air shifting? It's going to storm.
Oh, come on, Victor.
Henry, he's right. It's getting close. Let's go inside. Our tree! Oh, I'll get a bucket of water.
No, I'll get it.
Victor, get away from that. It can spread quickly.
It's magnificent. Such power.
Victor, I mean it. Victor, you'll catch fire too. Don't go any closer.
That's it. That's it. More kindling. Write to you soon, Elizabeth, I promise. It's time. The glory that awaits. Yes. Yes, I've done it. I, Victor Frankenstein, have discovered the secrets of life. What have I done? No. No, get away from me! No!
Is it a letter from Victor Frankenstein?
No, sadly. Just another one of Father's political followers.
He's got a lot of those these days.
Yes. It seems the number of eager disciples grows by the hour. If only Victor could write us to tell us how he is. We've sent him dozens of letters and not a single reply. I'm worried about him, Henry.
I'm worried about him too, Elizabeth.
He said he would write us weekly. I'm tempted to pay him a visit.
Elizabeth, William and Ernest and your father need you here. I'll tell you what, I might see if I can expedite my journey to Ingolstadt.
Oh, Henry, would you really? It would calm my heart if just one of us could see him face to face. Please, go as soon as you can. Justine will likely be back soon after she pays her mother a visit. She's dying, you know. Her mother.
I had heard. I'm very sorry to hear that.
And once she's back, she and I will take care of things here.
Are you sure you and your father won't need my help?
Yes, I'm sure. Please, go. You're the only one who might be able to talk some sense into him and ensure that he's all right.
If you and the family can manage, then I'll go. I'm sure he wants to complete his work, if anything, to make your family proud of the great discoveries he's finding. It was always the plan that the two of you would marry when he comes back from Ingolstadt, wasn't it?
Yes. If Victor is still interested in marriage, I would be in a heartbeat.
Then I'll go first thing tomorrow. Knowing Victor, I'm sure he's toiling over the next greatest piece of technology and is encapsulated in his own mind. Shall I relay a message?
Give him this.
Oh, I'd almost forgotten about this. That was one of the best days Victor and I had with his mother. I will. Thank you, Elizabeth. Well, I'd better go pack my bags if I'm to arrange a coach and catch the next train. Next time you see me and I come back from Ingolstadt, Elizabeth, I'll be an older, wiser man.
Oh, Henry, thank you. Give him my love.
Excuse me, you must be a professor? I can tell by the way you're so well dressed. You wouldn't happen to know where Victor Frankenstein is?
Ah, you must be Henry Clerval. I wasn't expecting you until the fall.
You know my name?
Yes, when Victor first arrived, he talked much about you. I trust your early arrival won't distract him from his studies, though I doubt anyone could. He's been so dedicated to his work, I haven't seen him in weeks.
I beg your pardon, Professor?
I think Mr. Frankenstein is on the brink of some large discovery. I hope you'll understand not to bother him until he's completed whatever it is he's working on. You have your own studies to worry about now, Mr. Clerval.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Professor. Where can I expect to run into him when he's not working?
Oh, I'm not sure he's had time for such trivial matters. He's been operating out on the south side of the building on the hill. It's the best lab and living quarters we have here at Ingolstadt.
Thank you, Professor.
Till class time, Mr. Clerval, and you best begin your reading. We'll be discussing chapters 1 through 5 by next week.
Thank you, Professor. Oh, look at this, my old friend, Victor Frankenstein.
Clerval? Now I really am hallucinating.
I'm here, Victor. It's good to see you.
Am I dreaming? You couldn't possibly be here.
I am here, Victor, and I'm hungry. We should go to the dining hall.
I was just on my way to the library to return a few things. It's astounding to see your face.
It's good to see you too, Victor. We've been worried. We've sent letters.
Yes, I've meant to respond. My work, I've been so busy.
It's all right. I'm just here to make sure that you get better. We have a last few more adventures before I go back and get married.
Elizabeth, how is she?
She's doing as well as she seems, taking care of everyone, but she misses you and longs for your return. She sends her love. Oh, I'd almost forgotten. And, this.
Oh.
But Mother, I don't understand why Henry and I can't keep the discovery for ourselves.
I know it's tempting to keep it for ourselves when we stumble upon something great. But if we posture ourselves to share it with the world, that greatness will outlive us and empower those who will follow. I hope you two have many more discoveries in this life, but I want you to be responsible in them. And now's a good time as ever to learn.
I'm going to grab my adventure map and draw these.
That's wonderful, Henry.
When I make great discoveries someday, I want you to be the first one to see them.
That will be one of my greatest honors.
I love you, Mother.
I love you too, my dear boy. Oh, it's getting dark. Shall we go assist Henry with his map drawing inside?
Your locket.
Thank you, Victor. What would I do without you?
That day with my mother.
Yes, that was the best of days, wasn't it? I missed you, my friend. We thought your studies might have concluded for this year already, so when you hadn't scheduled a return, I thought I had to make an early arrival, for both our sakes. I was getting eager to explore the countryside before jumping into my courses. We should both go.
I don't know.
I hear there are some beautiful cliffs in Ireland that are just picturesque, Victor. I think it would be good for your health to go and get away from Ingolstadt for a while. Oh, I'd almost forgotten. A not-so-cheerful update on Justine's mother. I'm sure you've heard from our letters she hadn't been doing well. She's passed away. Justine will be returning once the burial has taken place.
I've meant to send my condolences. I'm sorry to hear. I'm sure Elizabeth is missing her.
Yes, Elizabeth is anxious for her return. Justine truly is a great help to your family. Goodness, how long has it been since you brought her in?
I believe it was 10 years ago or so. I do hope she's doing all right.
Yes.
Justine was ever loyal to the Frankenstein family since the day she arrived in their home. William and Ernest especially loved when Justine would cook for them. Years and years passed with Justine in their home, and she only ever brought them joy with her servitude. She missed her mother she had left behind, though, and always had it in her mind to make it back to her someday.
Mama, does Uncle Walton write that Justine made it back to her mama?
She made it back to her mother just before she died to say her final goodbye.
Why do all their mamas have to die?
Girls, I think it's time for bed. You heard a lot of sadness from this letter this evening. I'll be sure to read you what Uncle Walton has written and let you know of his adventures tomorrow. Now, come, let's get ready for bed and think of the joys that a good night's sleep will bring.
Yes, Mama.
Yes, Mama. She's gonna die, I just know it.
Oh, Walton. Now, where was I? Justine traveled back on foot to Geneva after making one last visit to her mother, but that was perhaps where her life began to end.
I'm going to be too late. The gates are closed by now. Hello? Is anyone here? I guess I'll just rest in here for a brief moment.
Well, Frankenstein, it seems I'm playing the messenger again. Another letter from your father. I recognize his handwriting as if it were my own, though his penmanship is looking a little shabby, I will say.
Thank you, Henry, but I'm not sure I have the capacity to read it at the moment.
Victor, please open it. I happen to know your father was worried sick about you before I left, and I promised him that I would get you to write him back if it were my only accomplishment here at Ingolstadt.
Worried sick about me, or worried if I could accomplish anything here?
I think he is concerned for you, Victor.
Fine. I'll read it now and respond within the week if I feel I can. What?
What is it?
No. William?
What happened? Is William all right? He seemed eager to go on that hiking trip with your father and Ernest before I left.
William's dead. He's murdered.
What? That can't be true. And they're blaming Justine. William's locket that he had from your mother was found in Justine's dress pocket.
No, it's impossible. Justine would never.
Victor, we've got to get you home. You can vouch for her. I'm sure Elizabeth is already on it, but she'll need your testimony as well. Oh, trial is very soon. I know what we'll do. We'll go by boat first thing tomorrow. I'll get the arrangements ready.
No, Henry. I cannot travel tomorrow. I fear my fever will return if I don't rest. Please. I fear I won't make the journey.
I'll be with you. We can start homeward soon. I'll be with you the whole way and can help you preserve your strength.
Oh, Clerval, if you only knew what I had endured since being here. Please, let me rest until I can regain enough strength. I cannot go near any instruments of my studies. It'll be my ruin. Please, promise me, Henry, you'll help me.
I promise. But you must keep your word to your father, Elizabeth and Ernest. They need you.
sweet Lenny, what are you doing awake?
Did he, Mama?
Seems he did. He was killed.
Mama, do you think Uncle Walton was kind to Victor Frankenstein when he found out?
I'm sure he was. Your uncle cares for others well. I can't imagine losing a brother like that. My sweet Lenny, come close. Promise me you and your sister will look out for each other in this life.
We will, Mama. I promise.
Lenny, I think it's time for bed, and I mean it this time.
Yes, Mama.
Victor traveled by boat with Clerval, but they ended up with separate carriages as Henry tended to his family. So Victor ended his journey on foot on the way home to Geneva, but the night Victor was to arrive, he swears he saw something in the outskirts of town when he visited Caroline and William's graves.
I never imagined myself here seeing both your graves occupied. You had so much life left to live. I tried to figure it out, Mother. I tried to create something worthy in your absence, but now it only haunts me. I miss you both every day. It just doesn't make sense that Justine would...
You gotta take me now. I'm not guilty. I'm not guilty. Who's there? Please, don't hurt me. No, Justine. Justine, it's us. Elizabeth and Victor. He's returned from Ingolstadt. It's all right. It's going to be all right. Elizabeth? Victor? You came to visit me. Oh, how awful this is. I had just returned from my mother's burial, and now they say I am to be executed if I am found guilty. Oh, Justine, we will do everything in our power to talk to the judge and the court to prevent this sentence. We believe your innocence. You do? Yes. Yes, of course we do. But, Justine, I don't understand how the locket ended up in your possession. It is the strangest circumstance. Victor, your mother's locket that she gave to William was in my frock, and I hadn't the slightest idea how it appeared there. I had last seen it with William. May God give his soul rest. It's all right, Justine. We all miss him. Don't we, Victor?
Yes.
We know that you would never harm a hair on his head. The murderer is surely still out there somewhere. We believe you, Justine. Then you can do something. You can speak of my character. You can speak of how I came to your family in the first place and how I would never harm any of you. We will. Yes, of course we will. Won't we, Victor?
Yes. Yes. We'll talk to the judge.
Oh, Justine, you didn't deserve any of this. I cannot believe they truly think you are at fault. It is awful and wretched to see an innocent soul in a torture chamber. If I don't make it out of here alive, Send a message to my remaining siblings and tell them of my innocence. Tell them I love them. If I have learned anything from being a servant to your family, it is that people will be granted honor as their story comes to light, and God is the one who sees them through. He, at least, will confirm my innocence at the end.
No, Justine, you mustn't talk like that. You will make it out of here if we can help it. Now, please, get some sleep if you can, and we will see you on the other side of this.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Victor.
Good night, my sweet Justine. Get some rest.
Good night.
Victor, we must go to the judge and the court first thing in the morning and give our word. They'll believe us. We have seen and known Justine's genuine character since the day she moved in.
I'm certain of her innocence, Elizabeth. We'll talk to the judge straight away.
Then why do you look so perturbed at present? Did something in the prison remind you of your illness?
Elizabeth, I have something to tell you.
What is it? Victor, you can trust me with anything.
During my time at Ingolstadt, the illness that has wreaked havoc on my life was born of an event. I cannot speak of this event as of yet, but it is a dark and horrible secret I do not wish to keep from you forever.
What kind of dark and horrible secret?
One I fear will change your thinking of me. It consumes me, Elizabeth. Day and night I feel its weight, but I cannot speak about it at the present moment.
Victor, for as long as I've known you, I know nothing of this world that can separate my love for you. But when will you tell me this horrible secret?
I'll tell you the day after our wedding, after our vow is made. I'm sorry, I cannot speak further of this. You must forgive me, but now is just not the time.
Yes, of course. If that will help prevent this disturbance in your heart, I will persist in waiting for our union. Now, let us go get as much rest as our conscience will allow.
Guilty as charged, Justine Mortz is to face execution this very evening.
I knew she was guilty. There's no other explanation.
Yes, she always seemed frightening to me when I saw her around town.
It is a shame it had to come to this before they caught her.
Unanimous. We didn't even need to hold a trial. How long do you think she was planning it?
I don't understand. We did all we could. How could they think Justine was guilty? She only ever cared for William. She prayed for him every night. And not only cared for him, but she was like a sister to me. Oh, Victor.
Yes, it's awful.
How could the court abandon her like this? Victor, why do unjust fates happen to innocent creatures? Our family will never be the same without Justine. I think I need to go home and rest.
Yes, please do that, Elizabeth. I believe I'll be retiring soon to do the same. And don't worry about any household tasks for the time being. Clerval is attending to my father and Ernest. No. Justine, I can't live with this guilt. She didn't murder William. William's gone, and now innocent Justine. This is my fault. I left it unattended, thinking it would die off, but it seems to have survived. I created this murderer. He is the reason for this madness. He is madness. It is in his very nature, the monster. And he's out there somewhere, perhaps even celebrated. How many more victims will there be? I've got to end this wretchedness once and for all, but how? I've got to get out of here. I need air. I need to clear my mind. Well, this horrid anguish. But where to go? I know. The only place where this wretched thought might be able to escape me. The trail to Montenvers.
Elizabeth, what do you mean Victor's gone?
Well, I was going to ask him to come say a few comforting words to Ernest as he cannot sleep, and then when I went to look for Victor in his room, well, he was gone.
Where do you think he might have gone?
Who knows? I fear he isn't taking the grief of William's loss well.
I'm sure he isn't. But if I know Victor Frankenstein at all, I'll venture to say he went out on the trail to your family's summer villa. The trail to Montenvers. Though I wish he hadn't left at night. However, this wouldn't be the first time.
Oh, Henry!
I'll go first thing tomorrow if he doesn't return. I'm sure he's just trying to clear his head of this atrocity in the best place he knows how.
I just worry that these life-altering few months have changed him for the worse, and now we'll never marry.
I won't believe that for a second, Elizabeth. Victor loves you. If there's anyone who can shake him of this illness, it's you. Now, get some rest, Elizabeth. There's much to do in the coming days.
All right. But Henry...
Yes?
Promise me that you'll help Victor before Father becomes too old. I know that he's worried about him and it affects him daily.
I promise, Elizabeth. I have a mind to take Victor out into the countryside to get some fresh air and a clear head. We'll give him the time he needs.
Oh, Henry, thank you. Please, get some rest.
Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night.
You! You. It was you. You did this!
Please! Halt! Allow me to explain myself.
You can speak?
I should have expected this reception. Humankind has not been kind to me. You, my creator, abhor me. Have I not suffered enough loneliness and agony that you seek to increase my misery?
You? We have all suffered under your miserable existence. How dare you come back here after all you've done?
I have endured more than you can imagine over the last many months. See the scars on my hands? They tell a story unfathomable, as no living being such as myself walks this earth.
I don't understand. I thought you wouldn't survive. That night was the worst night of my life.
The night I was given life, it was astounding and perplexing and terror-provoking all at once. I did not know what to do with this body I was given. My sensations and surroundings did not make sense to me. I had no one to tell me of what being I was. I had no living creature to explain that light was to guide me, or that the ground was to stabilize me, or that shelters were to protect me. My only experience was pain. So I ran and I ran until my feet were swollen and half frostbitten, and I ended up far away in a foreign country. For every attempt at human interaction, I was met with vile hatred due to my appearance. People screamed, cried, ran from me, heaved objects at me with force. Even animals ran away with haste. It was as if all creation was intended for life on this earth. And I, an outsider, had no way in. Soon, winter came. I could no longer go into town as I had already been rejected by all humankind I encountered. And I learned many lessons from where I stayed that winter. But you must accompany me to a suitable place for the evening. A cabin I've inhabited here, as I've inquiries for you too, my creator.
Why would I ever follow you?
Please, I am certain I may provide answers you have been looking for. I've seen you toil, and the despair impairs your health. I believe we can come to amicable conclusions together.
Only will I accompany you if you tell me why you took innocent life, why you murdered my William, and then I shall decide what conclusions you and I shall come to.
There is no easy explanation but for you. I hope to come to an agreement as I share my reasoning. Come, let us sit by the fire as we share our heart's yearnings in company. For you, my creator, should know what my existence has become. You must be curious of my life until this moment.
All right, but no more than an evening will I spend in your presence. You've caused me and my family great anguish, and I loathe to be near you. Where now?
I wandered far away from the place of my birth, and I traversed many landscapes and terrains. I experienced many sensations, season by season. Soon, winter had become a harsh reality, and I needed shelter. The cold ice hurt my skin as I had walked leagues. I found a hut that looked to be abandoned, so I went inside. I had already learned not to be out in the dark, where wild animals roamed, as they were prone to attack. I soon fell into a deep sleep until I awoke before the light had come out again. I later learned this to be sunlight, and oh, how I loved sunlight. It was the most warmth I'd felt in my existence until that point. The sun was not yet bright, and I woke with the start to the snapping of a large branch. Soon, more snapping occurred, and I realized I was not alone. Terrified I would be found, I slowly and silently gazed through the chinks in the hut to view the outside world. There was a young man there, gathering wood. Upon watching him, he walked toward another shelter, and I determined there were more humans nearby, closer than I originally thought. I watched until the young man gained a considerable distance, and then I followed, keeping a watchful eye on every one of my surroundings. I knew not to let him on that I was following, as every human interaction before him had been met with vehement disgust. As the young man went on, I could vaguely see another modest hut, about the size of the one I had found, and outside of it was a small garden. The young man was bringing the wood to the east side of the hut and putting it in a designated pile. There's a young woman who seemed to be a companion to the young man, tending the garden and gathering produce from it. They both were gathering all day, and they'd go inside the hut, where there's an older woman present. They all lived there together, the three of them. Once I knew there was life among my humble abode, I watched from a distance for a time. Food was hard to come by, and I'd seen they were able to get bread and cheese from nearby townships, perhaps by trading. When they were asleep, I would take some from their stock, and it satisfied my hunger pains. When they awoke and realized they had been taken from, they were distraught, and I felt dissatisfied with my actions. I could not continue this, as I could tell it harmed them. The pain of others was not pleasant to me, seeing other creatures suffer. The two younger humans, I'd soon learned, were children of the old woman, and they sat at her feet frequently at the end of their days, looking quite dejected, and she would sit and play an instrument with strings for them. This is the only semblance of happiness I had seen in them, as her countenance was lifted hearing the beautiful sound she produced. I had never heard such sounds. My whole being felt lighter when I listened to them, and I felt as though I, myself, had wings and could float off into the skies. What was this phenomenon? I had learned this sound to be called music. They seemed to create this music when they were all together, and that was their way of settling from a day of work. I knew from that time forward that they had very little in life, and I made it my duty to bring resources to their hut, instead of taking from them. So I would gather berries and herbs during the nights as they slept. I knew they collected wood, so when I found dry pieces, I gathered extra and added to their pile. They would awaken in shock to see more wood had been added to their pile, but they did not know how it arrived. They sang joyful songs when this occurred, and it produced in me a feeling I had not yet experienced. Affection. I had grown fond of these humans I had never interacted with, but so closely had observed. One day, they received a message by mail. I did not learn until later what this message meant to them. Something called a smile came across their faces. It gave me warmth I did not expect as I gazed upon their interactions. As they smiled, I felt this smile cross my countenance for the first time. I wanted more of this feeling, so I watched them day after day. I later learned the meaning of family, and that was what this group of humans was, family. I learned their family name was DeLacy, as the old woman was called, and the young man's name was Felix, and the young woman's Agatha. After a while, I realized the old woman didn't gather anything like the younger two did, because she could not see. I had wondered why she never looked directly at her children. This is why she played the stringed instrument. Sound was able to be detected by her trained ear as her sight failed her. I did not know how they communicated with each other at first, but I couldn't help but draw near when the old woman plucked the strings on this instrument. The way the old woman played the music for her children seemed to ignite a peace inside them, despite their circumstances. And despite not having her sight, DeLacy's demeanor with her children seemed delightful. It was as if they were waiting for something or someone, and that kept them hopeful of seeing another day. They continued in their half-sadness, with smiles interspersed, until finally the day came. An official arrived on horseback and brought with them another young woman, this one different. This is what they had received the message about months ago. When the young woman joined their small hut, at first, she seemed timid. I could see the humans could not understand each other because they did not speak the same language. But overall, they seemed happy with her arrival. Felix looked like he had lifted out of the sadness most of all. He would spend every hour of spare time with this new young woman, whose name I learned to be Safi. The next few months were full of Felix, Agatha, and Safi sitting down, eating together, reading, and sharing conversation, teaching Safi their language. So I found myself observing continually, day after day.
So that is how you learned language?
Yes, it took months to observe and understand what each human was communicating, but soon I was able to understand them and even shared in empathy. It was in this time I learned what poverty and war were. I learned that Safi's father was the reason they were all living out in this countryside, with no one else around. Felix and Agatha had helped free Safi's father from political imprisonment, and they had to retreat to escape the government's retaliation. Safi's father promised his daughter to Felix as a companion, since he knew he had taken a liking to her in their former interactions. The family now lived in isolation for their own protection. They didn't have access to the luxuries they once had in France, due to staying in hiding from the government. They wore the same clothes daily, and it seemed the adjustment from their previous life was more difficult than they had anticipated. They heard word of the war that was waging between their countries and of continual death of their people. With Safi's integration into their family, they were making the most of their days. The community they shared provided more moments where smiles occurred in their household. I longed to join in their meals and conversations, now that I understood them. Why couldn't I have what they shared? I longed for someone to be in my presence without wailing in trepidation. I yearned to have something in common with them in which we could have discourse. So, one day when they were all out traversing the far countryside for some medicine for a cut Agatha had procured, I snuck into their cottage. The old woman DeLacy was asleep during an afternoon nap, but her hearing was exceptionally attuned, so I had to be careful with the amount of clatter I made upon entering. It was incredible to gaze upon the old woman in her slumber, to see humankind so at peace and so close. I looked around their hut and noticed they had very few items in their possession. I did notice a book lying on the ground near the old woman, and without hesitation, I took it and quickly left the hut. I never intended to take it without returning it, but I planned that I might read this book called Paradise Lost and quietly return it one day. I dreamed of how I might be able to speak with one of them and share in this common warmth they all shared. I dared not try this with any of the younger humans. I knew I must start with the old woman because she cannot see and would not be subject to immediate distress from my appearance. Thus, I began my plan. I would wait until the young humans were out of the hut on errands, and wait until the old woman DeLacy was awake to approach her to present myself so that my gentle nature may be realized by all humankind.
You? Gentle nature?
You assume my nature is not gentle, but my intent was to seek friendship of these cottagers. I knew that if I could convince DeLacy of my kindness toward her family, I would have a chance of being grafted into their small community of humans. I had no one to share even the slightest of joys with. It was worth attempting every means I could.
The day arrived when the three younger humans went into a town nearby to look for an animal they could purchase. The old woman sat alone in the cottage, and I knew I had to act quickly before the others came. I knocked.
Who's there? Come in, you may enter.
I entered the hut.
I'm a traveler far from my original destination. I've come to seek rest and warmth.
You may gather yourself here, though my son and daughters are away and I am blind, so I may not be able to provide food for you.
That is all right. I only request warmth and a place to sit for the time being.
Right over here.
Thank you. I appreciate your kindness.
I can tell by your speech you're not from this region.
I am not, but I've learned this language and understand it only. I'm at present going to claim the protection of some friends, of whom I hope to gain favor.
And have you come upon any in your journeys?
One might say I have. But you see, I'm an unfortunate and deserted creature. I have no friend or relation upon earth. These people to whom I go have never seen me and know little of me. I am full of fears, for if I fail there, I am an outcast in this world forever.
not despair. The hearts of men, when unprejudiced, are full of brotherly love and charity.
They are kind and the most excellent creatures in this world, but they are prejudiced against me. My life has been harmless, and yet a fatal cowardice clouds their eyes. Though I have, unbeknownst, displayed daily habits of kindness to them, they ought to see a kind friend, but shall only see a detestable monster who wishes to injure them.
That is unfortunate, but if you are indeed blameless, perhaps you may undeceive them?
That is my current undertaking, but I came in part to implore you to be in any way of help to me in acquiring of these companions.
Where do these friends reside?
Near this place?
I cannot judge of your countenance, but there is something in your words that allows me to believe you are sincere in your request. I will aid you in undeceiving them if you will share with me your history. May I know the names and residences of these friends?
It is you with whom I seek refuge, O de Lacy!
Mother, are you all right? Did this beast injure you?
I am all right, my son. I had not beheld his frame until you approached.
We cannot stay here any longer.
See, you were met with much maliciousness. Where did you travel from there?
I was at a loss for where to travel to next, but I started south in hopes of meeting another blind human to whom I could share language and conversation with. As I walked miles through the forest, I couldn't help but be enamored with the wondrous smells. It was as if my senses became more complex as my learning did. I followed the scent of something delectable, which I later learned was a campfire, and I stumbled across a stream that had strong currents. I managed to barely clear the stream when deeper in the valley I heard a woman's voice. It sounded like distress, so I bounded through the waters as quickly as I could to get to the sound. When I reached the source of the noise, I saw the woman had fallen in the stream and could not swim. I flung myself toward her, and to my dismay, the woman sounded the most guttural scream, trying to use every last bit of strength to free herself from my grip. I was trying to lift her out when the panic in her eyes pierced through mine. My attempt at good was met with hatred and trepidation. I paused, as to make sure I wasn't inflicting pain on her in any way. That's when I felt the hot steam through my shoulder as a loud burst echoed through the valley. I looked up the stream a short distance to see a man holding a long apparatus that appeared to have inflicted the pain. It was pointed directly at me as the man started shouting at me.
You there, get away from her!
I had never felt such pain, but I managed to get the woman safely out before I dashed deeper into the woods, encumbered. The man did not pursue me, but I had come to learn that I'd been shot. I managed to get the assailant out of my skin, but not without excruciating pain. I knew from that moment that my hideous appearance would never be taken kindly to any human with working eyes. The pain made me grow bitter. I learned from my reading what bitterness was, and I grew to accept it. It gave me strength in moments where my body wanted to surrender. I kept wandering until I found more civilization. It reminded me of communities that had one another. I had no one.
I've despised my inception, and I've wondered how someone could leave me like this. Alone, isolated, hideous, and utterly wretched, only to be met with hatred everywhere I went. I began to despise you, my creator. That is when I found your papers.
What papers?
The papers in which you documented my creation. Every piece and particle of animal and human remains from graves nearby, the chemical solutions and theories of alchemy and galvanism you utilized to bring life to me. Now that I could read, I read about how you felt such despair in my creation and regretted your work.
You have my journal?
Yes. I have it here to return to you. I had felt such malice toward you that I swore revenge against you. I had found your family estate address in this journal, and I began in that direction to confront you in my anger. That is when I stumbled upon your family on the trail near your summer estate.
No.
I did not intend to hurt him upon our first encounter, but when he wouldn't stop screaming at the sight of me, despair filled my heart with all the memories. I lifted him to his feet, by his neck, as to silence him. I noticed he was wearing a locket that beheld a word, and a word I had not soon forgotten: Frankenstein. In that moment, all I could do was try and set the boy down, but my grip was all too encompassing. Without much of a passing moment, the boy had no breath left in him and became lifeless in my hands. When I saw that he was now deceased, I expected a horror to take over me, but alas, something else did. My wrath now had a purpose to it. I deprived my creator of something of infinite worth to him. And in that moment, you had no power of who I was to be.
I ought to kill you right now, you awful wretched devil!
You must not!
Your strength, it is beyond that of any human.
Yes, it is true that I am not like any of you, but you must let me continue. I did not intend for the death of your brother, but there is more I need to ask of you.
When I left the boy on the ground, I knew they would come looking for me. I left abruptly to find the nearest place I could shelter for the night. I stumbled upon an older barn that had plenty of warmth, but when I approached, I saw a sleeping young woman. Her countenance formed a smile, and in that moment, she possessed all I wanted and I knew I could not obtain. The joy of humanity struck me in the heart of hearts yet again, with its sting of elusiveness. I knew I did not want her to awaken with me there, but I had the locket the boy had been wearing yet in the palm of my hand. So I swiftly deposited the locket in the maiden's frock and left no trace behind.
My mother's locket. I knew Justine was innocent.
She was innocent, yes. And had I known her relation to your family, perhaps her fate would have been different. But I must tell you, since wandering through the wilderness, I have been consumed with the burning passion only you can gratify. I no longer wish to burden you or your family with the knowledge of my presence. I am asking you to create another of my kind, a companion of equal wretchedness in appearance, with all the same defects. Upon completion of my companion, we will travel as far as South America, never to be seen by humankind. We will go to the vast wilds and live there indefinitely. Please, you must promise to comply with my request.
I refuse.
You alone can do this, and I demand this from you.
No amount of demand or torturous plea will convince me to create another and render myself the most miserable man who has ever lived.
You are wrong! And if you choose to refuse my request, I'm content to reason with you. Am I not shunned and hated by all humankind? If humankind could live with me in the interchange of kindness, I would display tears of gratitude at its acceptance. But that cannot be. If I cannot inspire love, then I will cause fear. I had intended to reason. This passion is detrimental to me. If any being felt emotion of benevolence toward me, I would return them 100-fold. I yearn for a companion. Oh, my Creator, let me see that I excite the sympathy of another human being. Do not deny me my request.
I do not have the words.
Please, I can see the compassion forming in your eyes. If you consent, no human being will see us again. We will stay hidden and be the only kin to one another.
How can you, who long for the love and sympathy of man, exist in such an exile?
How can you, one moment, be moved by my reasoning, and another be hardened to my deepest desire? I swear to you, by the earth I inhabit, and by you who created me, and with the companion that you bestow, you shall never see me again. My evil passions will have fled, and I will have been met with sympathy. My life will flow quietly away. And in my dying moments, I will not curse my maker.
I consent to your demand, so long as you quit Europe forever and leave every other neighborhood of man as soon as I deliver a companion into your hands.
I swear to you, by the fire of love that burns within my heart, that if you grant my prayer, you shall never behold me again. But fear not, that when you're ready, I shall appear.
Victor, where were you? We've been worried.
I was at the trail to Montanvert. It was the only place I could find rest for my mind. Henry, I came to an awful but necessary conclusion on my hike.
What is it?
I must go back to Ingolstadt and complete my work.
Victor.
Henry, you must listen to me. I must go back, complete my work indefinitely, and upon my return, I will marry Elizabeth, and we will continue on with our lives in Geneva.
And you feel this will resolve your illness?
I don't know, but I think it's a necessary step to find out. Where is Elizabeth?
She's out to market with Ernest. Victor, how long do you think your work will take to complete?
I hope no longer than 4 months' time.
Well, then I shall accompany you.
Really, Henry, you mustn't feel...
No, Victor. I want to look out for you. What I want more for you than anything in this world is for you to feel like yourself again. And for you and Elizabeth to wed. I know that would bring a great deal of happiness to your family and certainly to me.
All right, Clerval. But I'll need significant time alone to complete what I must. And I know it will bring an amount of anguish to my heart that I shall not wish to discuss after all this is done.
Any time you need to complete your work, Victor. I just want you to be well again. Besides, I want us to have adventures again. We'll set out in the morning, and while you complete your work, I may find myself doing a bit of traveling. The countryside calls to me, Victor, but I won't be long. I'll use my time away to explore the unanswered questions I have as you dutifully fulfill yours.
All right. Tomorrow, then. And I'll let my family and Elizabeth know of the plan and my intent to come back prior to our wedding. I'm sure preparations can occupy Elizabeth's time. And Ernest is old enough, he can manage on his own.
Yes. Now, get some sleep. There's work to be done.
I never imagined myself back in this wretched place again. But I must complete my work. What if they only express hatred for one another? What right have I to inflict this curse upon everlasting generations? This moment is a trajectory I cannot bear in my own hands. Not again.
Companion. It's... No! No! How can you take this from me?
I could not, for the sake of humanity, bring another like your kind into this world. The death and evil you would bring cannot compare to the breaking of a promise I made.
I have endured incalculable fatigue, despair, and anguish. Do you dare destroy my hope?
Be gone! I break my promise. Never will I make another like your kind.
Accursed creator! Why did you form a monster so hideous that even you turn from me in disgust? God made man beautiful after his own image, but my form is a detestable resemblance of yours! Even the devil had a fellow companion to admire him. But I'm alone and abhorred, and now there is no chance of ever bestowing the love my heart burns for. This you had promised me. And now you have taken my one certainty that would bring me out of this desolation. If there's one thing that is certain in this world, my friend, I will be with you on your wedding night! Ah!
What have I done? No. No. What have I done? No.
Delivery?
What? Oh, Henry.
Victor, I have found my solo travels throughout London to be more fruitless than I'd like to admit. I think it in our best interest if we meet up at Perth and continue our travels southward. That is, if your work can take a momentary lapse. I know you've ventured back to Ingolstadt to complete it, but I do think a country stroll in the Highlands would do your mind wonders.
Victor wanted to believe Henry was right. He also knew he would never complete his work, but he knew he must clean up any remnants of his work, or he feared it would plague anyone who lived there after him. He would go to the lab once more, then he would find a fishing boat and sail to meet Henry. Or so he thought. Victor found himself on the beach with his instruments. He hated that they were in his possession, but he decided he did not want these objects to ever get into the hands of another, so he dumped them into the sea. He eventually found a boat in his exhausted state and decided to sail that very night to meet Henry Clerval. However, Victor's illness was waging war in his body again, and he fell asleep at sea. And that evening a storm had taken him off course, which delayed his arrival, and he awoke on an unknown shore.
That's him! Take him to the magistrates!
What a heinous crime. Glad we found him before he got away.
I say, do you take me for some...
found him, not me. Hide some more wishes for his vessel.
Hold on to your anger. He's got a trial coming to him. Look at his reward.
You were mistaken. I'm Victor Frankenstein. I was en route to meet a friend, Henry Clerval. I must have gotten taken off course with the storm. I fell asleep, you see.
Save your testimony for the courts.
The courts? You have the wrong suspect in your custody. I've committed no crime against man.
We see right past your lies.
You cannot tell us to shore up right after a murder has occurred, and you're not indeed a suspect.
A murder?
An unknown boat sailed off in the direction of which you now arrive.
I assure you all, I just arrived from Ingolstadt where I've been studying. I'm not the one you were looking for.
Take him away! You're not going anywhere if we have anything to do with it.
I beg of you, be merciful.
Silence!
Victor's wishes were not respected, and he went on trial immediately. Many witnesses came forward and spoke about how they'd been out fishing the evening prior, and upon coming ashore, they stumbled upon the body of a man who'd just been killed. They at first supposed this man had drowned and washed ashore, but upon further inspection, the corpse had finger marks around its neck. The jurors concluded that, with the strong north winds that night, Victor had likely tried to escape by the boat they had seen after the crime, but had been pushed about in circles and eventually had to come back to the spot where he had departed from, where the angry mob had formed, awaiting the perpetrator. Victor spoke before the court magistrate, giving his account of coming from Ingolstadt, but they tried one last tactic to get Victor to confess to the crime. They concluded that Victor would be shown the victim's body, so they could observe what effect the sight of it may have on him.
What? No. No. Henry. No. My best friend. My brother. No.
At the sight of his friend, now deceased, Victor's illness ran rampant. He was bedridden and could hardly communicate. It was decided that Victor was not the murderer, and some of the villagers were helping to nurse Victor back to health when his brother Ernest arrived.
My brother, you are not well.
Ernest?
Victor, I caught word of your falling ill here, of all places, and of poor Henry. Oh, what misfortunes continue to follow us.
How is my Elizabeth? Does she know?
Yes, she's heard. She wishes to bring this to you.
Will you read what she writes? I'm too weak.
My dear, dear Victor, I know you have been ill, and what a horrendous crime on your travels that were supposed to bring healing. I have been in mourning since the day I found out about Clerval's death, but I could not help but think of what his passing has done to you. You have endured so much illness and hardship already. I am grieving for you, Victor. I am thankful Ernest was able to come assist you. I hope that you read this letter as you are progressing in health. I do not wish to be so forward at such a time as this, but Victor, a question burns on my mind that I cannot shake. In your travels and endeavors of academia, I have scarcely heard from you, in neither good nor bad merit. And something whispers to me that I should not depend too much on the prospect that is opened before us, but I will not listen to the sinister voice. Yet, still I wonder, in all of your misfortunes and victories in your time away, is there another love that steals your affections?
It is still your intention to marry Elizabeth, is it not?
Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be?
You must write her, Victor. The moment you feel any amount of strength, we will head to Paris, and we will let her know you are on the mend.
Victor's brother Ernest stayed with Victor in Ireland longer than he intended to, but day by day Victor slowly regained his strength. His mind was still tired, and he could feel himself aging with every improvement. He was not the same man he had left for Ingolstadt as. He eventually was able to make it to Paris with his brother by his side and write to Elizabeth.
My dearest Elizabeth, I hope to be home and in your presence by now, but my health has persisted to create difficulty in my return upon witnessing Clerval's death. However, I hoped we can continue our plans to wed upon my return. I apologize if you ever questioned my intent to marry you. You were always at the forefront of my mind, even during my time at Ingolstadt. I look forward to starting a new life with you, and as promised, on the day after our wedded union, I'll share with you what I told you long ago, the secret that has plagued my life.
Mama, does he live? I just want to know if he gets well again.
Clarice Margaret Seville, have you been listening to your Uncle Walton's letter when you should have been sleeping?
Yes, Mama, but Lenny did it too.
Girls, I fear you are too young to hear all I have read from your Uncle Walton. You should not have been listening.
Please, Mama, I just want to know if Victor Frankenstein makes it back to his family and if his creature is still out there.
Mama, why do some people get sick and others don't?
Girls, asking such difficult questions at this hour. You really must go back to bed. I'm afraid you'll have night terrors.
Please, Mama, let us hear the rest of the letter. I'm not afraid. I just want to know what else happened.
Yeah, Mama.
Oh, I suppose you've already heard too much. Girls, listen to me. This life is difficult, and in it you may be met with some ghastly circumstances. But know that you are loved and safe in our home. Uncle Walton tells us of his adventures so we might understand someone else's experience. Are you sure you want to hear the rest of the letter? It may not be a happy end to the journey.
Yes, Mama. We know bad things happen sometimes, but we're safe with you.
Mm-hmm. All right. Their journey, like every other one of Victor's journeys, took more time than anticipated. When they finally arrived back in Geneva, wedding preparations were fully taking place. Victor's father used the wedding to ensure a guest list full of potential political gain, inviting those of the highest status and anyone of prominence in the town. Despite all the terrible news, he wanted Elizabeth and Victor to have a day to look forward to, with as many guests and as many happy moments as possible, attempting to forget the fretful recent events. Unfortunately for Victor and Elizabeth, that was not the case.
My dearest Elizabeth, you seem devoid of all joy. It is our wedding date, the day you've been looking forward to since we were young.
My dear husband, in the depths of my being, I am happy that we are finally married on this wonderful day indeed. But I cannot put from my mind that tomorrow is a dull day full of gloom.
Elizabeth, I assure you that today is all we need to be worrying about for the time being. Tomorrow will bring what tomorrow will bring. So keep your mind on the present moment, my dear. I quite enjoyed our ceremony.
As did I. But it feels wrong to share with our guests our most joyous day when I do not feel so deep in my bones.
Well, most of them are father's guests. Elizabeth, I assure you, it is our wedding day. Let it be you and I that we focus on for the rest of the evening.
I suppose I can reflect on our love with even greater fondness now that we are wed. Shall we, at the very least, thank our guests before we depart?
Yes, just a few more moments while I attend to some final arrangements, and we shall be departing shortly.
Victor and Elizabeth spent time talking with guests and saying their final farewells. Though Victor had some idea of the horror that may await him, he didn't want Elizabeth to witness any of it. The evening went on, and still no sign of the monster that Victor had provoked. Yet the last words of the creature rang in his ears that day. The sun had nearly set, and Victor knew they needed to leave before anything were to happen.
My dearest Elizabeth, are you about ready to depart?
Yes, I am ready, my love. I want to live beyond tomorrow and finally share our wedded blessings in the comfort of our family estate. I think I've spoken my gratitude to every one of our guests.
Good. Now go wait in the bridal suite and make sure you have all your belongings. I'll let Ernest and Father know of our departure and express our gratitude for this reception. The coachman shall be ready for us shortly.
All right, my love. I'll wait for you there.
Victor knew that at any moment he may run into the monster and have to fight till one of their deaths, which he hoped would not be his. He was prepared for any such meeting. He needed to secure every bit of the reception hall so that each window and entrance was well accounted for. But as he said his goodbyes and checked every entry point, the creature was nowhere to be found. He hoped the villain would not show up and cause destruction after he and Elizabeth had departed the reception. But as Victor made his last rounds, a sound which no groom on his wedding day ever hopes to hear pierced through his ears.
Elizabeth!
What was that? What happened?
Right?
No. No.
All right.
My Elizabeth. No. Go! Gather any weapons you can! Find him! He took my Elizabeth.
Let's get him home. He needs rest.
We'll call for a search party. This murderer cannot be far.
All right. There we go. As soon as Elizabeth was lifeless in his arms, Victor had finally understood the meaning of the monster's last words to him. The next morning, revenge started to seep into his mind the moment he awoke. A formal search party had been sent out, and they continued to look for the villain. Victor knew exactly who the killer was, but he wasn't sure he could disclose the secret that may foil his newfound vengeance.
Victor, did you catch even a glimpse of this murderer? Any description will help us find this man.
The most grotesque face, an alarming frame, and long black hair covered his head. He was so quick to get away.
We will find him, Victor. Your father has given authorization for increased search efforts.
My father?
He's been very ill since last night. Ernest has been taking care of him as he's had chills and difficulty breathing.
Will he live?
There's a doctor coming to assess him tomorrow.
If I tell you something that has plagued me for months, will you use it to catch the vile being who has ruined my family beyond repair?
Victor, whatever do you mean?
It was a secret. Supposed to tell Elizabeth the day after our wedding, in hopes it would no longer plague my life, but now has inflamed my every wound.
Victor told them of all his work at Ingolstadt and how it perspired into the creature's existence and into his relentless rage. The search party at first appeared incredulous, but as Victor explained his story further, they sunk into attentive listening, at times wincing with horror or gaping in disbelief. Victor pleaded with them to exert their whole power to detain such a creature. He urged them that this was the only way to destroy the consequences of his actions and avenge his family name forever. They felt sadness for Victor's sake, but eventually they answered him with doubtful woe.
Victor, though we want to help your family and we owe much of our livelihoods to them, this creature that can traverse ice and sea, and since it has learned to reason, we may be at a loss as to know its location.
Yes, if it can inhabit caves and dens where no man would ever venture, we are not certain of our success in finding it.
Please, I already know your best men are out on the search. For me, for my family, for the loving memory of Elizabeth, keep searching.
We cannot, in good conscience, set our men at odds with something so powerful in which we have no chance of a victory. Our families are now at risk. Victor, we're sorry, but we cannot help you any longer in this search. We must create a defense in case this vile wretch makes another appearance.
No, please.
We're calling off the search, Victor. Please continue to rest. You'll need to be well in order to care for your father.
His delirium is very much affecting his reasoning, even now.
I pity his family.
No, how ignorant you are! You know not what you allowed to progress. My magnificent William, my best and truest Clerval, someday I will join you. But until then, I must avenge my beloved. How I curse the day I created the vile being. By the deep and eternal grief that I now feel, I will pursue the demon that has caused this misery. Let him drink deep of agony. Let him feel the despair that now haunts me every moment of my existence. Come out. Show your face.
I am satisfied, miserable wretch. You have determined to live, and I am now satisfied.
Where are you? Come out so I may end you once and for all. No. What have I done? From this day forward, I vow either in my life or in my death to your destruction.
Victor pursued the monster on foot initially, and frequently found himself hungry, exhausted, and full of mental anguish. The only reprieve he found was when he was asleep. Even in the most inconducive of places, he dreamed of Henry and of Elizabeth and the joys of their friendship. He also dreamed of the peaceful moments of his childhood in his mother's arms. Victor vowed to pursue his creation and attempt to destroy it. Victor had found clues left by the creature along his route, including inscriptions in the road that read, "Prepare, your toils only begin. Wrap yourselves in furs and provide food, for we shall soon enter upon a journey where your sufferings will satisfy my everlasting hatred further." So Victor found all the necessary equipment for the journey north. Victor was indeed thinner and weaker, but some notes left by the creature made mention of sledges pulled by dogs, and Victor found himself following suit to keep up. This went on for a few months, until the Arctic temperatures prevailed, and Victor and the dogs found themselves surrounded by ice and deathly cold. Victor, having almost no strength left, would not give up the quest. And it was on his quest to avenge the death of his wife and attempt to destroy his creation once and for all, he had appeared on my ship. He does not look well, even now. This is a new depth of sickness I have not seen in a man. I do not expect him to live much longer, Margaret. It is a travesty to see such anger and malice deplete a man's lifeblood as I have seen in Victor Frankenstein, especially one I have grown fond of. I hope to write you again soon. Please give Claire and Lenny my love. To better adventures soon. Captain Walton.
Mama, Victor Frankenstein isn't going to live?
It doesn't seem like it, dear.
But that's so sad.
I know, girls. Such an ambitious young man with such a tragic ending. But I'm sure your Uncle Walton is giving him the best care he possibly can.
Is Uncle Walton coming home soon?
His letter is dated a few fortnights ago. I should think we'll see him by the end of the year if all goes well.
I miss him.
Me too, my dear. Me too. We'll all just have to give him a big hug when he comes home. Now, let's all get some rest.
So you believe he's still out there? Do you think he might attempt to come aboard? Shall I prepare the crew for defense?
It is unknown whether the creature will dare to show his face again. I'm sure he's still alive and lurking close by. I myself am close to my end. I can feel my strength leaving me. Yet I will not give up. He's taken everything I loved most in this world from me. He's the most wretched being to ever walk this earth. You must continue north. I was within a mile of him. Suddenly I lost track. When the sea sent me to my death, your crew found me. Oh, must I die and yet he live?
Victor, being so close to ruin ourselves, and in talks of turning back, I think we have very little chance of meeting him again. That, and we cannot forsake our families for the task you set out for.
I understand, Captain. The more I've thought of my request, The more I see, I cannot ask this of you. That he should live to be an instrument of evil grieves me, yet I recognize my request was out of selfish motive. I anticipate the release of my anguish even this very hour. I can see Clerval and Elizabeth and William, and my mother beckoning me to them. In this quest, it seems my hopes have been extinguished. Yet, perhaps those to follow may be empowered to seek a nobler ambition. Seek love, Captain Walton. For ambition without it may only lead to ruin.
Frankenstein? Attention crew!
Yes, sir.
We set sail for England first thing in the morning. The ice has finally split and given way for us. We're homeward bound. Dismiss.
Captain, I'm truly sorry we could go no further this year. I know it was your dream.
Such is the outcome when our dreams and God's will are disunited. We'll try again someday.
Yes, sir.
My dear Margaret, I hope this to be my last letter to you before my return, so I can focus on the health of my crew. Since Frankenstein's death, I have felt a loneliness to my own soul. I have pondered the time I had spent with him, and I have seen that love is a much nobler path than vengeance, and the desire for knowledge and new discoveries does not conclude without life-altering consequences. As I live and breathe. No, please.
You knew my creator?
I had the privilege of meeting him and the honor of hearing his life story until his passing.
Then you know of me.
I know that you are the creature who has not yet been satisfied unto the death of your very creator. First William, then Clerval, and even still Elizabeth. And here he lies, your last victim.
Do you think I felt no remorse in the lives which I had taken? Do you think I felt no guilt? Do you think the groans of Clerval were music to my ears? This heart was formed to be inclined to compassion and love and sympathy. But when wrenched by misery to vice and hatred, it did not endure the violence of this change without torture.
Had you listened to the remorse and the conscience and heeded the warning, Victor Frankenstein might still be alive.
You do not understand the misery in which I endured. Frankenstein endured suffering, but he endured not even the 10,000th portion of my anguish. After the murder of Clerval, I returned to Switzerland. Heartbroken, I pitied Frankenstein, and I resolved that I should not carry out my original threat of accompanying him on his wedding night.
You did not intend to kill Elizabeth? I find that difficult to be true.
At first, this was the truth. I went about Switzerland, trying to put the misery from my mind, but soon pity turned to horror. I abhorred myself. I had no one. But when I discovered that my Creator, who authored my existence and its unimaginable torments, sought his own happiness, bitterness filled my heart, and a thirst for vengeance emerged once again. I was not master, but rather slave to an impulse. Yet when she died, no, I was not miserable then. Evil then became my good, and now it has ended. Behold, my last victim.
I see you have indeed suffered.
Yes, it has been a torturous existence. For while I destroyed his own hopes, I did not fully satisfy my own desires. But it is true that I'm a wretch. I've murdered the lovely and the hopeless, and I've devoted my Creator to misery and pursued him even to his ruin. And there he lies. Humankind hates me, but it cannot equal that which I regard myself. I think on the heart in which the imagination of it was conceived, and the hands that carried out the deed. And I long for the moments for when my imagination will haunt my thoughts no more. Please, allow me to have my last words with my Creator.
Assuredly, that is the one thing I will grant you.
I gaze one last time upon your face, O Creator. Some time ago, when the images of this world first opened up to me, I felt the warmth of summer and the rustling of the leaves and the warbling of the birds, and these were all new to me. I should have wept to die then! And now it is my only consolation. Where could I find rest but in death? Soon these burning miseries shall be extinct. I leave you, and in you, the last of humankind, these eyes shall ever behold. Farewell, my Creator.
Farewell, Frankenstein. And farewell.
Thank you.